The x-axis is all set up here, and we've got this bed moving back and forth, and we have to set up a end stop switch here that this little bit here will hit as it comes across. And that's actually pretty easy to install. There's a little open slot here for it. I just actually was mounting it to see how it fit in, so these holes are a little white from the stress of the screw already being in there. But anyways, you know, it's important to pick the right size of these. So if you are maybe salvaging pieces off of an older printer, or maybe you bought some new pieces, you know, you want to use a small one, but not this small. You need, essentially, you can't use like a 3-inch one. You need maybe like a 6-inch wire. But you do not want, what you don't want is you don't want some big long wire, because then it's just going to be flowing everywhere. But you can't use something too short. You can almost stretch this to the job, but you really want sort of that sweet spot of a short one, but not too short, so about 5 to 6 inches. Now when you set this up, you know, then you're going to flip the bot over, and you're going to place this here where this is open to the mouth is facing towards the print bed. Now everything's upside down, you know, I flipped everything over, but you can see how this is going to line up so that you can actually hit this. Now you're going to probably need to add there's a little spot here for a screw to make it large enough to hit this, unless, you know, you happen to have the clearance that this goes, you know, all the way there to hit it. So there is a little mounting hole here. You know, the design file for the Adoptabot doesn't have anything in that spot, but it's pretty clearly intended for you to be able to add any length screw that's going to give you the ability to hit the end stop. So anyways, so you're going to place this in here. You're going to use, these are M2 screws. They're 10 millimeters. And you're just going to feed them right on through this switch. And you're going to tighten them down to the openings here. Again, mouth facing towards the print bed. And when you tighten this in place, you know, all you're going to do is you're going to see about how far is your distance to actually hitting this switch. So, you know, you tighten this down all the way. I just got mine started. But you're going to figure out what this distance is, and then you're going to add a screw. So I'm going to ballpark it and say, you know, chances are like a 8 millimeter screw would be plenty to be able to hit this. So grab an 8 millimeter and a 6 millimeter. And I can definitely tell you that an 8's going to give you plenty of distance. So you just need to get it started in here. So you're just going to barely put it in, and it's going to easily hit this. But I'm going to test it with a 6 because the closer I can get it here, the more my print area I get. So I'm going to use a 6. And if it doesn't work out, you know, I mean, you just barely, if you put a 6 here, you're just going to barely start it in that hole. And it's a shallow hole anyways. But anyway, so I'm going to try it with a 6 and see if it fits pretty well. If you want a little certainty, you know, an 8's definitely going to be plenty long enough, but I think 6 can do it. So this hole's pretty tough to fit this into. It printed pretty tight. Just you know, one of those things that kind of goes with printed parts. All right, so I was able to get about a half turn, maybe 2 turns will be enough to get this snugged up in there. You really don't. This isn't going to serve any purpose other than hitting that end stop switch. So you know, I've got it pretty far out there, and actually it clicks. And I'm at the end of my travel here. So a 6 millimeter screw, if you just start it in that hole, is plenty of length. If you aren't getting a hit with a 6 millimeter, you're going to have to switch to an 8 millimeter. These are just M3 screws. So that is the X-axis end stop switch. Again, keep the cord modestly short because you're going to reach it around up to here to plug it into the printer board. But you don't want too long because then you'll have a bunch of wire to manage. So about a 5 to 6 inch cord seems to be the right length. Anyways, that is the X-axis end stop switch.